from Chi Yoga and Ayurveda Wellness. And I came to learning about Ayurveda and my yoga teaching training in 2012, and I found it so fascinating that I thought, well, I'm gonna study even more. So I did a training in North Greenwich with Ayurveda Pura on diet and lifestyle and therapies. So I have the whole package. I can talk to you about the parts that include herbs and diet and lifestyle and daily routines that will help you achieve your balance. And I can also do the body therapies that will allow you to detoxify the body, strengthen the tissues, and get into a better state of health, mentally and physically. And yoga is one of the key ingredients that Ayurveda recommends for this balance. So, if we are all ready, hello Sam, welcome.
Hello.
If we're all ready for this session, what I will be doing for you is first I will give you a quick introduction to how Ayurveda looks at the world and how this can be used to interpret what's happening around us and inside us. And then we're going to go into the specifics of what does this mean for each of you? You know, what does it mean for each body type and mind type? So if we are all into it, we will have just a moment of a little mantra to center us and to focus. So you can bring your hands together.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Bring your hands together and we're going to inhale and exhale. So we'll chant one mantra, Trayambakam, and then 3 Oms and Shantis, which if you know it, please join me in it. Inhale to begin. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sukandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urdhva Rukamira Bandhanam Mrityo Mukshiyamarmitram. Now 3 Oms and Shantis. Om, 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. So why doing a chant? Why doing this type of centering? Is because we connect with something that is beyond ourselves. The wisdom of Ayurveda precedes most of the holistic modalities of health and well-being. And although I am the vehicle today to communicate with you about this wisdom, this is not just me. It comes with 5,000 years of experience and observation. So first of all, let me tell you what Ayurveda means. Ayurveda means science of life. And this science of life needs to have existed since life existed in the world. So some people say it's 5,000 years old, but 5,000 years ago, what happened was that somebody started observing what happens in nature, observing what happens in our bodies. And through this observation, and importantly through meditation, they also managed to ascertain how the body is composed. Ayurveda started in the area that now is known as India. And because of that, you will see that there are a lot of curry type of herbs that we use in Ayurveda. And it was then expanded and taken to other areas in the world. And it became Chinese medicine in China, adapting to what the culture and the climate of that area needed. And it became other type of modalities. It is said that even Marco Polo took some of the wisdom of Ayurveda on his travelings around the world. So Ayurveda, the science of life, can only happen if you develop a mindfulness approach to health and well-being. So Ayurveda is a type of science that will not just give you a pill to pop in and say this will be sorted. Ayurveda focuses in getting to the bottom of whatever the issue might be, so that you are empowered to influence it and heal it yourself. Because let's face it, you cannot outsource your health. You are the person that knows yourself better than anybody else. And in Western medicine, what we find is that you go to the doctor when whatever is happening is already too severe for you to deal with. In Ayurveda, we learn to notice the telltale signs that appear a lot earlier in the process. So, for instance, when you get a really bad cold or the flu, let's not talk about COVID, because this is a different type of virus that is quite new, and you get it very quickly, passed by somebody, and then we know the consequences. But I can tell you some tips that you might be able to use if you have had COVID and you want to get a little bit more, active and feeling better. But if you have a cold, how will it start? It will start probably with a sore throat, a bit of a runny nose. So it will start here on the upper part of the respiratory system. And if you catch it there, if you notice that your throat is sore or your nose is running, and you have a bit of lavages, you cleanse your nose with salt water, warm salt water, and you do some gargles. Please don't use the nose salt water for the gargles, use them separately. If you do that, you will catch the illness before it goes down onto your chest. So by doing that, you're already being your own doctor. Do you know what the word doctor means? Anyone? Doctor comes from docere in Latin, and it means to teach. So these days, our GPs, general practice, they cannot teach us what we need to do. But we can learn through Ayurveda. So my role, I'm not an Ayurveda doctor or anything else. Hello, Helen. But what I can teach you is the tools to interpret and recognize what's around you, what's inside you, and what this might mean for you. Okay? Good. So let's go to the points that Ayurveda uses to look at the universe. In Ayurveda, we believe that there are 5 elements, and these 5 elements are part of the composition of the whole of the world, the universe, things around us. And these elements are space, air, as air in movement, like wind, fire, water, and earth. And the elements were also created in that order. In the beginning, there was nothing. Air is pure potentiality. And then there was the word. And to have the word, you need air in movement. And air in movement provokes friction. And friction brings fire. And fire creates condensation. And that condensation becomes water. And water, when it's stagnant, becomes earth. So all of these elements work in unison, and we have all of them in different, proportions. If you are a rock, you will have a lot of earth. If you are a lake, you will have a lot of water. But do we recognize ourselves as water? Do we know that we have this fluidity, this capacity to congeal things? Because water is also a union of things. You bring things together. If you have flour and you put water, you get bread. Can you imagine? It's magic. There are so many things in the universe that are absolute magic. So these 5 elements have qualities. The quality of air, of space, is just pure potentiality and is kind of, nothing. It doesn't have fire, it doesn't have water, it's just space. The quality of air is dry and moving, and it's whatever makes movement also in our bodies. So if you are into yoga, you might know about the vayus. And the vayus are the airs that are in the body. There's the air that help us to consume things and it goes down. Then another air that help us to dispose of those things, getting them out in the loo. An air that makes circulation go around and go across. So all of these values are part of what Ayurveda also uses to help us balance the body. Because this is the main thing. Ayurveda does not talk about a person being ill. It talks about a person being out of balance. And out of balance is a lot more hopeful, because if you're out of balance, you can regain balance. So let's continue with the elements. The element of fire. The element of fire, you would imagine that is hot. And is a little bit oily and is also very focused. When you have fire, you can focus. Then the element of water. Water is cold, is moving, is flexible, is soft. And the element of earth, which is heavy, stable, and wholesome in itself. And we can find all of these elements on our bodies. So inside our head, our chest, our hips, we have space to hold our brain, our lungs and heart, and our internal organs and our reproductive organs. So this space needs to be created. And within that space, you will have those movements of the body, the circulation of the vascular system, which is your heart. Your heart has a pump and it makes it circulate through the body. And then you have your lymphatic system, which doesn't have a pump. So what do you need to do to circulate your lymphatic system? You do yoga, you do movement, so that you get the lymphatic system moving. This is why if you go on a long flight, you will find that your feet swell. So when you do that, so yes, dry brushing is very good for it as well. But even when you do the dry brushing, you can't, if you do it just like this, always towards the heart, but just on the outside, you might not be moving your arm up. And this, getting the underneath of the arm and the armpit, is important. And those movements will help to get all of your glands as well cleansed, because the objective of the lymphatic system is to cleanse the body and take debris out. Face yoga is very good for it, because you touch your marmor points and you regenerate your face and get your lymphatic system moving in your face, so you don't get puffy eyes and things like that. So that's the lymphatic system is water in the body. The saliva is water in the body. Then you have the fire. Fire in the body is in 2 places. So I don't know if you want to do this interactive and you want to respond just say where the fire might be in the body, or you want me just to talk. Hannah, you tell me, how do these normally work? Do people interact or?
They can drop it in the comments.
Drop it on the comments. Okay.
They're very welcome to interact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And very
But because I want you to be engaged
normally
in this conversation. So where could the fire be? In the guts? Well, in the guts, if you talk about the intestines, that is the place of vata, of air. The place for fire is on your upper digestion. Oh, fire in the heart, of course. Fire in the heart will will bring the emotions. But no, the fire physically is in the stomach and liver, because this is where transformation happens. So you eat something and it gets transformed into something that you can digest and that you can send to the tissues. So the space of Pita of the fire is on your upper abdomen area. And there is another place where we have fire. Anyone can volunteer it? Without this fire, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Yes! Well done, Helen! In the brain! Hey! So the fire is in the brain because it helps us to focus. It's also in the eyes, because without fire, you wouldn't have vision, because fire gives you light, and without light, you don't have vision. So that's another area. And this is also why, if you have an excess of fire, if you for instance, you are for too long in the computer and you're working and working and working, you might develop a headache and tired eyes because you have too fire here. And if you think too much, you might feel like if smoke is coming out of your brain. And this is it. This is what happens. So yes, the brain processes. So fire is transformation. And the transformation happens on everything that you ingest. So what do you ingest? What you take in? Go on. Everybody knows what you ingest. Can you tell me? In food, water, very good. What else? Food, very good. Yes. Air you breathe, you don't ingest it, otherwise, there are consequences that will come the other end if you ingest your air. What else do you think you may ingest?
So I was thinking, like when you're chewing gum or something, that you end up swallowing a lot of air. That's the sort of thing I was thinking of.
Yes. But that is not an ingestion. That's actually something that will come out through your bottom. And it's not something that you can process and digest. So the other things that we ingest are sensory modalities. So everything that comes through your senses. You ingest sound, you ingest things that you look at, smells, aromas, obviously everything that comes onto your mouth, and you ingest also touch, all the sensory things that you get. So if you are in a very cold environment, your body will remember that, and your brain will have to process that. And all of these things that you ingest, there is something else that we ingest, which are words. Your words are so important. Not only the words you hear, but the words you say to yourself, your internal dialogue. So all of this needs to be digested. Is when they that saying that sticks and stones might break my bones, but words were never heard. That is bullshit. Excuse my language. Because words are super, super, super important. Whatever you listen to, you hear, you watch just before going to bed will influence the way that you sleep. It will influence how you dream. It will influence the following morning. So throughout our days, we need to be aware of that, and we need to try and find occasions that will bring us inspiration. So participating on this wellness group that you are in with Hannah and Sarah is amazing, because this helps you ingest the right type of information and the right type of approach. If you instead spend most of your time watching news, which is bad news, and reading the newspaper when there are talks about, rapes and fires and this and the other, then that will be your reality. That will be what you live. And by no means I am implying that you shouldn't watch the news, that you shouldn't know what happens in the world. But do it mindfully, so that when you ingest that information, it will not reside on your tissues. When you ingest that information, you take it to your meditation cushion and you send love to those people that need it. Instead of thinking, oh gosh, the world is coming to an end and the petrol prices are going up and I'm not going to do, all of these things that we've been experiencing. Even with the pandemic situation, you can take different approaches. You can lock yourself up and try not to go anywhere, or think, okay, I do have my own ways of dealing with whatever it is. If it's COVID, I know I have the tools. I can pace myself. I can take a rest. We were having a chat with Hannah that just recently she got a technology issue, and then everything in the way didn't allow her to sort it there and then. And she was also suffering from a health debilitating issue. And she needed to listen to that. So the technology could not be sorted out now. So rest. You are in this space. So this is what Ayurveda invites us to start discerning. And discernment is very, very important. When you know how to observe and discern what you need, then, the world is your oyster, literally. So these 5 elements, can we remember them? First one, put it on the chat.
Space.
Space, very good. Second one, air, as air in movement. Third one, that lives in the brain and the eyes. Yes. The third one is fire. Very good. Fourth one is water. Excellent for everybody that has been listening. And the fifth one is earth. Very good. Very good. So those 5 elements in Ayurveda are grouped into 3 modalities or 3 body types. I don't like to use the term body type because it's not just a type of body, although a type of body will result from these body types, but it's more a humor, a kind of a combination of qualities that will give you a type of mind and body. So in Ayurveda we have Vata, Pita, and Kapha. Vata as V-A-T-A, Pita, P-I-T-T-A, it's not the bread, and Kapha with a P-H, K-A-P-H-A. So these 3 body types are called doshas, and these doshas are combination, yes, very good, Hannah, combination of space and air is Vata. Combination of fire and a little bit of water is Pita. The combination of water and earth is Kapha. So Vata, Pita, and Kapha. According to what we were talking about, which are the qualities of these elements, and qualities are also called gunas in Ayurveda. How would you imagine Vata to be if it's air and space? It doesn't have fire, it doesn't have water or earth.
Quick thinking.
Quick thinking, yes, that will be a Vata mind, absolutely. And at the same time, too much air and space will become scattered thoughts.
Scattered, yeah.
Scattered, yes. So there is an excess. So Vata is air and space. You will have dryness, you will have coolness, you will have movement, you will have potentiality, creativity. So in a typical Vata person, so all of these elements, all of these doshas are on everybody. So we all have a little bit of each. There will be one that will be your most predominant dosha, but the other ones still exist. So as I'm talking to you, you might say, oh, this applies for me, but also this. And the questionnaire that you would have had, the doshas quiz questionnaire, in there you might have found sometimes things that apply to 2 columns, not just one. And in that case, you should tick both, because it means that you have both of these things happening for you. And we also have a body type that applies to the present moment and a body type that applies to when we were born. These are called Prakriti, is where you were born, and Vikriti. Vikriti is now. You might say, oh, when I was little, I was so creative and I was painting and singing and but now I can only do this, very focused, or now I feel very lethargic and I feel I can't do anything. So it means that your dosha has changed, because it's part of how your environment influences you. Your environment, the work that you do, the things that you read, the music you listen, all of that will change your dosha. And dosha in Sanskrit also means imbalance. So it's not that we are always imbalanced, but if you have an excess on a dosha, I used to be organized and now you're not. Yes, those kind of things happen as we go along. But don't despair, because if you used to be organized and now everything is a disaster, then it's an opportunity for you to find where are the things that are taking you out of balance and how you can rebalance it by bringing the opposite qualities to your body. So if we are now in a Vata season, the seasons are very much taken into account in Ayurveda to help us understand. In Ayurveda we say, as in the macrocosm, so it is in the microcosm. So if outside you find that the weather is windy and a bit dry and getting cold, you will feel that in your body. You might feel that at this time of the year you need more moisturizer. Your hair becomes a bit more brittle, a bit more dry. You might get constipation because at this time of year those elements are on the up. So what do you have to do? You have to eat unctuous, nourishing foods and soups that are cooked. If you eat a salad, that will not bring you warmth. So you need things that give you warmth. Put spices, put ginger, put a little bit of chili, put things that will bring that heat from the inside out. Have oil massages. Well, in Ayurveda, oil massages are advised for the whole year round. I do Abhyanga, full body Abhyangas with warm oil, and it's amazing. It brings you into a total state of peace and well-being. And you can also do a self-Abhyanga, self-oil massage. If we have time, I will talk about that later on. So you have to bring that moisturizing inside, eating things that are nourishing, keeping warm, and especially when we go into the cooler months, keep your nose and mouth and ears covered, because these are entry points for cold and wind. If they are not covered, you might get earache or dry nose, and then that dry nose can give you sore throat, and that sore throat can give you a cold. So these kind of things can help us to be preventative. Geny, do you follow that? Your mind can be one dosha and your body another. Absolutely, yes. And your mind, in Ayurveda, in the questionnaire you will see that some things refer to the body and some other things refer to the mind. So yes, you can have a, Pita or Vata type of body and a Kapha mind, or a Pita mind and a Kapha body, and things like that. And this is not necessarily an imbalance always, but sometimes if it gets exacerbated, I can't say that word. I'm Argentinian, by the way, if you heard the accent, that's where I'm from. If you increase something, that will bring it out of balance. So I don't know exactly what might have happened that took your organizing into not being so organized, but you went from a Pita to a Vata type of state of mind, and the organizing is all in the mind. So I only talked about Vata. We have Pita. Oh, you had a child. Oh, well. You will get back into organizing. Yes, having children, having a new partner, changing homes can change a lot of the things that we do and how we do them, Then I went on holidays, and when I came back, I just, kept forgetting my keys, Well, if you travel by air, you will increase your air and space. So you get from a Pita mind into a Vata mind, and then you can find the way back. And there are exercises to do. I believe that in this group you do meditation. Meditation is a fantastic way of focusing the mind. And if you can meditate 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day is fantastic. If you think you haven't got the time to meditate 15 or 20 minutes a day, then you need to meditate for 1 hour because that space will be created by your meditation, and then you will be able to do the 20 minutes. Let's go into Pita. Pita is fire and a little bit of water. So what do you think the gunas of Pita would be, the characteristics of Pita? How is fire? I'm looking at the chat over there on my other screen. Driven, very good, yes. Driven, focus, that's on the Pita mind. What would the Pita body will be like? Passionate, yes. All doshas can be passionate, but the exit of that passion will manifest differently on each of the doshas. So Pita person will have a very strong digestion, will be able to eat things that perhaps a Kapha or a Vata person will not be able to eat. So Pita person can very easily eat full steak and, be going along doing stuff. Whilst a Vata person might get constipated from it. So the ways that we digest will have an influence. And a Pita person will also be very competitive, very strong, not as strong as Kapha, but it will have a strong body. And in general, a Pita body will not put or lose a lot of weight, will have a constant type of weight. The body type, I didn't say the body type on Vata. Vata body type is in general slim. It can be short or very tall, and it will talk with their hands very much. And I have a bit of Vata, but I talk with my hands because I'm Argentinian. Then a Pita body type is a medium size, is quite strong, can be lean. And Pita people will favor sports that are competitive sports. So there will be team sports or competitive sports like tennis or things like that. The problem with those is that sometimes, because Pita has a competitive streak to it, that might become too much. And when they get too competitive, then they go out of balance. They become jealous, anxious, they become very kind of in high alert. A Pita boss will be giving you a list of things to do, and it will not let you get away with not doing them. That would be a Pita boss. If you have a Vata boss, he or she will never know what's coming next. It will throw everything at you and say, well, you sort it, and then forget what was happening, or be very enthusiastic at the beginning of a project and never bring it to an end. So that's a Vata boss. A Kapha boss is the ideal one because it's very patient and it listens and it's very loving. Anyway, so that was Pita. Then we have Kapha, and Kapha are the elements of water and earth. And as such, how do you think this dosha might be? Water and earth. Anyone? Grounded. Slow and considerate. Yes, very good. Very good. Calm. Fabulous. Yes. So yes, all of those characteristics. But what happens if you have too much of it? What will happen if there is too much earth and water? Lazy. Very good. Very good. What else? Over emotional. Yes, Kapha can bring depression. Unmotivated, greedy, sleeping too much, putting on weight. This is all part of a Kapha imbalance. So Kapha body type will be a bit bigger than a Vata. Vata person is very slim, Pita is medium. Kapha might be a bigger type of constitution. However, it doesn't mean that you have to be overweight to be Kapha. The overweight is an imbalance of the Kapha. Kapha person is a strong person. They have a lot of stamina. Kapha is a type of person that can do a marathon. Vata can do a sprint. Kapha can do a marathon. So we all need the three doshas. And the Kapha person will have beautiful big eyes, lustrous hair, and very nice oily skin. You know, they won't have a lot of wrinkles because they have all of that moisture in themselves. At the same time, sometimes if the person is balanced, they will not like that much things that are very oily or very greasy, you know. But if they are out of balance, they will go for the cookies, they will go for the ice cream, and that will get their Kapha dosha out of balance, increase those elements of water and earth. Good. So Vata, Pita, and Kapha. Did you find from your questionnaire what was the most predominant of those? So the questionnaire, you needed to add up the points, and then you will know whether Vata, Pita, or Kapha is your predominant dosha. Would you like to share? Did you do it? Did you do the homework? Pita. Helen, you're Pita. Very good. Is your hair red naturally, or is this a dye? No. Because Pita people will tend to have hair that is kind of reddish. And sometimes Pita will also mean that you lose hair. In men, it's baldness. So, yeah. And some, you're Vata and Pita. Good, good. So you might have the a creative side and you like to talk to people and you're very sociable, and at the same time you might be very focused on certain things. Sam, was it you that said that? Oh yes. So your Pita is why you're organized, and this is a natural thing for you. So if you manage to lower your Vata, you will go back into Pita. That questionnaire that you answer will be what you are like right now. So Helen, being Pita, you might have a bit of an excess of fire right now. That might be why you lose hair, or you feel, that you get angry and you get like things like that. So that excess of fire can be lowered by being in nature, going for a swim, watching out what you do, how you do it, and when you do it. So if your Pita is high, you need to let it digest. And that means that if you go to bed too late, you will not help that. You need to go to bed around 10:30, and then your Pita can be digested and processed. In the case of some, where then it went, I can't remember. Okay, Hannah, no problem. In the case of some with Vata and Pita, you need grounding. So if you find that because you have a child, you are always on the go and the next activity, the next thing, and make sure you take some time out in between things. And this time out doesn't need to be very long. You can take 5 minutes and massage your ears. Close your eyes, massage your ears, or focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. Wherever your breath is, your mind is. If you forget where your breath is, it's because your mind is in the past or in the future. And it is in the present moment that you will find that balance. So doing things that are good for you, that are nourishing and caring for yourself, lighting a candle, having a hot bath. All of those things will help you to ground your Vata, and you will go back into your natural Pita mode where you are more organized. But don't take it to the extreme. Allow it. If sometimes, things are planned, but they don't go to plan, let it, because we are not in control of everything. A Pita parent will be one that when they arrive to a destination and holidays, he or she will have a list of all of the things they will do, at what time, the schedule will be like a military regime. And if anything goes out of that schedule, they might, if their Pita is very strong and out of balance, they might not be able to enjoy whatever there is they are doing. They might have planned a trekking to the mountains, but suddenly one of the children made a friend and wanted to stay with a friend, and this new friend will be very important for that child. But if the Pita parent said, no, we said we weren't trekking, then that bond might not be able to be formed, and that poor child will be not enjoying the trekking and being forced onto something else. And this is the same for us as adults. If as an adult that is working and living and all of that, you force yourself into things because of like precepts that you have from your parents or your education and all of that, then you will find that a lot of these things will not serve you. You have many times, you might think, oh, well, I'm too old, or I'm too this or too the other. And these things might come from somebody that told you that, or something that makes you come to that conclusion. But you have to think yourself, is this useful? Is this true? And only you, is the master or mistress of your own life. Nobody else should be. So knowing and finding out about all of these things will help you find your balance. And being in a group of like-minded people like you are, this is fantastic because you have accountability, you have support, you have tools, and all of these things will help you to grow as a human being, because we are here to be happy. We are not here to suffer. We are here to be our greatest selves. And it doesn't matter if you're a Vata creative person or a focus Pita person or a loving and understanding Kapha person. We need all of it. And we can cultivate all of those qualities within us. So this is 45 minutes of me talking. Do we have questions? I had a question that came before the class, which was, what book would I recommend to research a little bit more about Ayurveda? And that is
a beginner's book.
A beginner's book. Yeah, there is an introduction to Ayurveda from Dr. Vasant Lad. I have trained quite a bit with Dr. Lad, and he's amazing. He has a very he's one of the top physicians at the moment in Ayurveda. There is another book called Ayurveda Wellness from Dr. Suhas, and that is also a very nice introduction to Ayurveda. And if you are into talking books, there is a talking book from Dr. Suhas, which is Ayurveda Wellness, that I would recommend very much. I can send Hannah the links or the names later on, and she can share.
That'd be really helpful, and I'll pop them in the group.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the other
so
question...
that was from Faye. Faye also asked, what 3 things would you recommend to others if you could only choose 3 for a complete beginner?
So 3 things that I would recommend for any body type to do is start your day well, and I will tell you how to start it well. Then have your main meal at lunchtime and end your day well, which I will also explain what these 3 things are. Within the day, we have circadian rhythms, which is like a circle. And these circadian rhythms also apply to the Vata, Pitta and Kapha time of the day. From about 2 to 3 a.m. to about 6 a.m. is the Vata time of the day. That's when the air is lighter. Birds start singing. In the summer, the sun is already up. That time of the day is the time where you should wake up. Now that we're going into the winter, you can wake up a little bit later, about 7, but normally it's wake up before sunrise. You wake up, you brush your teeth, scrape your tongue so that you take away all of the toxins from the previous day. And then you can do oil pulling or just sit for meditation. So meditation should be done with an awake mind. If you meditate in bed, you will fall asleep again. So you need to be awake. And then from about 6:30, 7, it starts the Kapha time of the day. So this is when the metabolism slows down. And that time of the day is the time to have a bit of action. You can do a yoga class, you can do some dancing or something like that, or just go for a walk. Going for a walk first thing in the morning is a type of activity that will change the whole aspect of the rest of your day. And this can be done by anyone, and it can be done without spending any money. So why not do it? And if you think, I have to go to... Sorry, I did a meditation. I love to bring into the present moment. But yes, very good. It's very good to come back to the present moment. So if you do that, you will start your day well. And then, you can have breakfast, but make your breakfast light, because this is the Kapha time of day. So your metabolism is slowing down. Ayurveda doesn't believe that breakfast is the biggest meal of the day. No. At breakfast, if you are not hungry, don't eat. That's it. If you're not hungry, you don't need to eat. Have a nice herbal tea. You can have a coffee if you wanted to. Don't exceed it because your Pita will rise. Then make lunch your biggest meal of the day. Making lunch your biggest meal of the day will ensure that you will digest things correctly. At lunchtime is the Pita time, so it's the peak of the day. It's when the sun is at the highest. And this is the time to have a bigger meal because you will get all the nourishment. Then the third tip is go to bed well. And by going to bed well, so after the Pita time, which is from about 11:30 or so until about 3 p.m., you go back into the Vata time of the day. And as we know, Vata is air and space, which means that your thoughts will be a bit more scattered, you will feel a bit more light and all of that. All of the ticking boxes, things of the day, should be done on the Pita time. The Vata time, you do the things that you don't need so much concentration. We must all have experienced this at school or in an office. That comes 4 o'clock and everybody's like, yap, 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 yap. You're ready to go. And that's the time that it should finish because it's natural for us to feel that way. Now, some people have their circadian clocks a bit, changed because of working in shifts and things like that. And these people sometimes might develop imbalances because of it. So when you finish work and arrive home, if you can, especially for some, well, Helen as well, to lower your Pita, sit down and have a little grounding meditation or something. It doesn't have to be long, just arrive and sit. Then you can do some exercises later on because it starts the Kapha time of the day starts a bit later on from 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. or so starts the Kapha time of the day. But don't make these exercises be very hard because if you bring a lot of movement and energy into it, then you will be too high. I don't know if any of you go dancing, but I love going dancing. I dance tango, Lindy Hop, whatever it is, partner dancing, I love it. But I come back from these activities physically tired, but like that, I can't go to sleep because I'm really, excited still. So what I do is I take a hot shower and that will bring me down. Dance to 80s in the kitchen, yes! Oh, that is fantastic. Dancing in the kitchen while cooking is one of the best things you can do. Much better than drinking wine whilst cooking. Not that I deny that is an option, but you can drink wine and dance and cook.
Do that as well.
Don't think that I'm reading your mind, but it's probably...
Jenny, do you know about the evening exercise?
Yes.
Jenny, do you know about the evening exercise? It's not that you wouldn't do it, it's just that you'd bring something else in to bring yourself back down.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Exactly, yes. Well, evening exercise, if you go to a class at 7 or 8 p.m., you still have some times until 10 to slow down and bring yourself down. Okay. When I go dancing, it goes a bit later, so I pass my bedtime time. So yes, nothing in excess because that will bring in balance, basically. And then the other thing not to do in the evening is to do things that are very negatively stimulating, like being on your phone all the time, social media, watching things that will be, not nice for yourself. I, as a teenager, used to love horror movies. It's like, but now as an adult, I don't like them at all. It just doesn't agree with me. I don't find it that I can get a thrill and relax now. So I avoid it. Watching the news late at night, I avoid that. You too, some, I know. It's good. But it's good to recognize it and not to force yourself. Me as a yoga teacher, many times I see people going, oh, I used to be able to do, the wheel and to do the handstand, headstand. I do teach all of those things, but not everybody is at the right time of their lives or physical capacities to do it. So they shouldn't do it. They should listen, they should observe. And then, whatever you do, your question, Hannah, about whether you exercise at night or not, just ask yourself, how do I feel when I finish? And how do I feel a little bit later? And if you find sometimes, as many people that are moms, parents, or, work, many times you might have pent up emotions and tension that needs to be taken out with strong physical activity, like boxing or running or screaming. Don't swallow it. Do those things, If you are in the car and you get a situation with somebody, you can go, oh! It doesn't matter, you're in the car, but you take that emotion, that tension out of you, and then you can observe a bit better. I gave up karate. I love it, but found it kept me too awake at night. That's it, Hannah. Or overstimulated. Yes, the wisdom is within you.
Sorry.
Go on, Sam.
No, Hannah was saying about the coconut, smashing the coconut on the floor. I really wanted to do that the other day.
Well,
I've done it.
It's brilliant.
Or a plate.
In yoga, we believe that one of the first precepts of yoga is non-violence and truthfulness and all of those things. But at the same time, if whatever emotion is within you and you restrain yourself from taking that emotion out in a loving way, in a not violence against the coconut or anyone around it, but just identified that emotion or that situation that you have and say, okay, I'm smashing the coconut with love. So that you'd get out that tension, but at the same time you are not putting more into it. I have at the moment in my life a situation where my sister-in-law is now living with Pita and I, with my partner and I, because she lost her husband recently. And, it's a tough situation to live in, and there is grief and there is a lot of things. And she was saying to me the other day, oh, I used to love Christmas, but now I'm going to hate it. And I said, well, you can have both emotions. You can love Christmas and still feel bad because your partner is not here. Both emotions are allowed. But if you just think, oh, if I am enjoying myself, I feel guilty because I shouldn't be enjoying myself because my husband died, then you're not letting yourself bring in an emotion that will be healing to you. And you're going into a negative spiral that will only manifest into illnesses in the body. Because remember, thought is first, and then the body follows. Whatever you think, your body will follow. So the body does not have discernment, the mind does. Any other questions, please? Any other questions?
I just dropped one in the comments. Just before we started recording, you were talking about the salt water and stopping getting the cold to the lungs. Could you tell everyone about that?
Yes. Well, in yoga, you will know it perhaps with Sarah, and in Ayurveda as well. Using the Neti Pot is recommended for a daily routine. A Neti Pot, you will put this pot, which is like a mini watering can, and you put the salt water through one nostril and it comes out through the other one, because we have a connection at the top of the nose. So that is one option. I recommend for this type of weather not to do that, because sometimes the water stays in the nose and you get maybe a bit of earache or anything else. So instead, what I recommend doing is get a bit of warm water in a cup, in a glass or in a cup, it should not be hot, it should be warm. And put half a teaspoon of salt and you mix it. So half a cup of water, half a teaspoon of salt, you mix it. Then you can put water on your hand like this. And like when you go in the swimming pool and you get water in the nose, you inhale and then exhale immediately. Yes. So you wash your nostrils like that. It doesn't need to go down. If it goes a little bit further, you will feel it on the back of your throat and it will come through your nose. So don't worry, it's not going to go to your lungs. Our bodies are a lot more intelligent than that. For the throat, you just gargle the water. You take the glass and you gargle, and then you spit it out. And that will cleanse the nose and the throat. This is, if you have a cold or the beginnings of a cold, is amazing. And it might be a little bit painful, but it's good for you. So, because the salt will irritate the irritated nostrils as well. If you don't have a cold and it's very cold outside, the option to keep your nostrils clean is to put a little bit of oil on the finger and just rub it around your nostrils. And you can also rub it around your ears. And this will give like protection. Having a little bit of oil on the nostrils in the spring will also stop the pollen from going into your noses and causing you allergies. So these kind of things are a barrier to keep the moisture in, and the things that we don't need, keep them out.
I got this one actually. It's called Ayurveda Nasya oil.
Yep, perfect.
That's the kind of oil. So you just put it around.
Well, that one, the one that you have has a dropper. So you can drop 2 or 3 drops in your nose. Have you used it?
Drop it in.
Have you used it?
Yeah, I dropped it in actually. Yeah. I dropped it in.
Yes. What does it taste like?
Nothing.
No?
I didn't put it in my mouth.
No, I know. But whatever you put on your nose or you smell, you can taste. Because the sense of smell and taste are connected.
Do you know what? I had COVID and I can't really taste or smell a lot, so that's probably why.
Well, but because of having had COVID, doing that practice will be really good for you, because you need to bring back the balance of the body with moisture, with oils and all of that. So the Nasya oils is a medicated oil that will have herbs. So sometimes they will have a little bit of a flavor, maybe a bit earthy or a bit, whatever it is. The oils that I'm proposing is sesame seed oil, non-roasted. You're not going to turn yourself into a salad. And you just rub it on the nostrils and on the ears. When you've done that, make sure that you do it when you're not going straight out, because oil will cool faster than the body. So if you have oil on your nostrils and on your ears and it cools down, it will give you earache, so it's the opposite to what you need. And putting oil in your head, massaging it in and leaving it for a little bit will make your hair a lot more lustrous. It will stop the hair fall. It will make your face look younger, because whatever you put in your head will transmit into your face. Anything else?
Brilliant, thank you, Jennifer. Hannah said, is it true that if you're Pita, you can't have chocolate?
Chocolate? It depends what type of chocolate you have. I don't think that...
Sweet chocolate.
Sweet chocolate? No, you can't have chocolate.
No, good chocolate. I think she's got... Yeah. Have you got ceremonial grey cacao, Hannah? I think she's got the good chocolate. So can a Pita type have that?
Yes, of course you can.
I hadn't heard that.
No.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
We're okay with chocolate.
We're okay with chocolate. I mean, if you eat a very bitter chocolate will be better for Pita type than a very sweet chocolate. So
Yes.
and the cacao one is very bitter. So, you know, you're doing yourself goodness. Everything that is bitter will cleanse your liver. And because the place of fire is your liver and your stomach, if you cleanse the liver, your Pita dosha will decrease. So this is something very important for everybody that is sort of new to Ayurveda. We talk about balancing, but whenever you balance, you should lower the doshas. You always lower the doshas. It's not like if, oh, I have too much Pita, so I put more Kapha and it will balance like that. No, they all have to go down, because if you increase another dosha, you know, if you think, oh, I have too much Pita, I need more coolness and roundness and all of that, and you start eating a lot of ice cream to do that, then you will increase your Kapha, and that will give you a different imbalance. So always everything down. So Pita people should not
a good
eat.
Tip, thank you.
No problem. Pita people should not eat curries, should not be in a hurry, and should not worry too much. Curry, hurry, and worry will increase your Pita type. Unfortunately, Pita types love those things. They love it. They love the stress. They thrive on the tension. They want the curry, the red wine, and all of that stuff, and the competitive sports. And this is lovely because it's part of your making. But at the same time, catch yourself before that becomes your demise, because before that becomes what makes you feel out of balance. Okay, are we all?
Thank you. She said, "Boo, I love curry." But what about curry if there wasn't too much chili in it? Is it still because of the garlic and the ginger?
Absolutely, yes. Don't have it Madras. That's it.
Yeah, because, so don't have such a hot curry.
Exactly, and curry is a very it has, because it's Indian, it has a lot of the herbs that are good for you. But you know, nothing is intrinsically bad. Nothing. No situation, no food, no word is intrinsically bad. It's how you digest it, how you interpret it, how do you process it. So cinnamon, for instance.
And how much of it?
Exactly. Cinnamon is very warming type of herb. So you can have a tea with cinnamon and it will be very soothing and nice for your body. If you have cinnamon oil and you put it on your skin pure, you will burn yourself. Now, it's the same substance used in a different way will give different results. You know, so just observe those things and make sure that you eat the right thing for you. Ginger is a warming type of herb, but if you eat it raw, like fresh ginger, it's more cooling. A dry ginger, because it has all of the energies dried into it, will be more heating. So you can have your tea with fresh ginger if you are very Pita, and with dried ginger if you're Vata or Kapha. That's it.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Geny, how can people get in contact with you or find out more? Do you do Ayurvedic consultations?
I do.
Tell us a bit more about how they can contact you.
Thank you. So my website is called cheyoga.co.uk. Che, like Che Guevara, who was also Argentinian, like me. And I use that word because it's the yoga revolution, yoga and Ayurveda revolution. cheyoga.co.uk. And I have a little package that I prepare specially for this group, and I will send you the information, Hannah, where you can have a consultation with me to find out what's right for you, what your body type is, what you need, and then 2 tailored yoga classes to put in practice what you have learned, what you know. And within these 2 follow-up consultations, we can also check up how the recommendations from the consultation went. And that is normally priced at £250 for the three things in the package. But for your group is £195. So you get a 1-hour consultation and 2 1-hour yoga classes, 1-to-1 with me. It can be online, or you can come to Grove Park and we can do it in person. For £195, I will send you all that information. It will be my honor to work with you, to help you find your balance, find your better self. So, that said, I have the background beautiful noise of my neighbors doing up their bathroom.
Oh.
So on that note, let's have a close-in, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just close your eyes. I will do the same mantra, Trayambakam. Trayambakam is a mantra for healing. And just feel how the sound waves can penetrate through your cells and can bring that vibration, because we are made of water. Vibration of sound can penetrate deep inside. And then the 3 Oms and chanties you can do with me as well. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sukhandim Pushti Vardhanam Urva Rukamiva Bandhanam Mrtyo Mukshyamarmitram. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Rub your palms together. Make the movement a little faster, generating prana between your hands, and place your palms over your face. Inhale deeply. Open your eyes to the darkness of your hands, and then slide your hands towards your chest. Bow your heads. Namaste, everybody. Give yourselves a little clap. Well done for paying attention.
Way to open and close. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam, Helen, Hannah, for coming live.
Thank you for being
here. This will be going into the membership and all of Jenny's contact details as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.